Well, yesterday the Chancellor attempted to present the budget as a bold plan to rebuild Britain, but when we strip away the rhetoric, what we see is a budget that is unsustainable, unfair and damaging to the very foundations of our economy. And most importantly, it is bad for all of our constituents. Last year, the Chancellor raised taxes by £40 billion and promised that she would not be coming back for more. Yet here we are, 1 year on, with another £26 billion tax raid. Credibility matters. When promises are broken so quickly, that trust evaporates. And my constituents feel that betrayal directly. Families who believe the Chancellor's assurances will now find themselves paying more tax with less money left at the end of each month. The first duty of any budget is to foster growth, yet the indicators all point in the wrong direction. Inflation is up. Food inflation particularly nearly 5%. Families in my constituency paying more for their weekly shop. Taxes are up. The OBR confirmed that the UK's tax burden is at a record high, projected to reach 38.3% of GDP by 2030. Our constituents are working longer hours to see more of their pay taken away. I will give way.
Well, for giving way. On this issue of food, food production in this country is critical to my constituency, his and others. And yet, public procurement still doesn't prioritise British goods. Might I invite the government to look at that again? Because it's absolutely right that this House, government and public sector should be supporting British-made goods and British-made food in particular.
I thank my right honourable friend. He's absolutely correct. The government has a duty in every single thing that it does, and its entire approach to ensure that it promotes the interests of the UK and businesses and farms that strive to keep us fed and prosperous. Unemployment is up. Redundancies are rising. In my constituency, local employers are cutting jobs. They're leaving families feeling anxious about their future. Spending is up. Borrowing overshot forecast by £9.9 billion this year. My constituents know that every pound borrowed today is a pound that they will repay tomorrow. Confidence is down. Business surveys show stagnation. Local shopkeepers tell me, Madam Deputy Speaker, they're holding back investment because they see no stability, and growth is down. GDP grew just 0.1% in Q3 of this year. My constituency, stagnation in wages, stagnation in opportunity, stagnation in hope. This is Labour's economic scoreboard. Inflation is up, taxes are up, unemployment is up, spending is up, borrowing is up, confidence is down, and growth is down too. That's not rebuilding Britain. This is dismantling Britain's prosperity, and all of our constituents are paying the price. 2/3 of the British public now say that they want to see spending cuts. My constituents are tightening their belts, cutting back on holidays, meals out, some of them even cutting back on heating. They expect the government to do the same, to live within its means. Yet Labour's budget expands spending recklessly. Businesses in my constituency are being hit hard. NIC was up last year for employers. Rate relief was cut last year. Businesses are struggling to survive. For savers, ISA allowances have been reduced. That undermines savings. And retail has lost over 100,000 jobs in the last year. And with our high streets feeling the pain, shops are closing, livelihoods are being destroyed. The budget offers no relief for small businesses in my constituency. It only offers more burdens. Labour claims that fairness is at the heart of the budget, but fairness is not what families in my constituency are feeling. Thresholds being frozen drag more workers into higher tax bands. Savers seeing their allowances cut. Even electric car owners, encouraged to go green, encouraged to do the right thing, are now being penalised. This punishes aspiration. Farmers in my constituency are amongst the hardest hit. The family farm tax remains largely intact. Inheritance tax changes threaten the survival of the family farm, and rising input costs and inflation are compounding the pressure. Farming is not just an industry, it's the backbone of our food security, as my right honourable friend has pointed out, and the backbone of rural life, yet Labour continues to undermine it. We're seeing an exodus of capital and labour in a world that is highly mobile. Over the last year, we've seen an exodus of high net worth individuals, and whilst the members opposite may scowl at this and dismiss this casually, the reality is the displacement of those would require another 500,000 average earners paying tax to plug the gap of tax revenue lost. That's the scale of the hole that the government has created. And who fills that? Well, it's all of our constituents, Madam Deputy Speaker, ordinary families, ordinary workers and ordinary savers. Ambition without discipline is not a plan, it is a gamble. Labour's budget is a gamble with Britain's future. Every pound spent servicing debt is a pound not spent on public services. Every broken promise erodes trust. Every squeeze on families and businesses undermines the engine of our economy. And let's be clear, Labour spends until they run out of other people's money. And when the money runs out, it's all of our constituents who pay the price. All of our constituents deserve better than what we've seen in this budget, Madam Deputy Speaker. They deserve a government that will restore financial discipline, that will encourage enterprise and will deliver fairness for everyone. The budget yesterday, it isn't a plan for the future. It's a blueprint for decline. It ignores the public's demand for spending cuts and for government to live within its means. It presides over the loss of further jobs. It drives away wealth creation, leaving ordinary taxpayers to pick up the bill. It squeezes families, it undermines businesses, and it will devastate farmers. This isn't about rebuilding Britain. This is dismantling Britain's prosperity. Labour spends until they run out of other people's money, and my constituents cannot afford that any longer.